TV? Yeah. I wish I was a bit taller. Of course, I'm a bit nervous. I think before I even start, I just want to say, like, I'm so incredibly thankful and grateful to be here and just to have this moment here with you and everyone. And my name is Makayla Mantla. I'm currently 29 years old in my second year of university at the U of A here in Edmonton. And I'm First Nations from Treaty 11. And I'm Indigenous First Nations, and me openly telling you that I'm Indigenous or First Nations is something I could not do my whole entire life growing up, especially in Yellowknife or coming from the Clecho community, because I grew up my whole life feeling like I'm not smart, I don't belong in university, or I've had people tell me, Makayla, don't go to nursing, there's no Indigenous people there, we don't belong there. And that has been so hard for me growing up. And I think it's only until maybe the last 3-4 years where I felt proud to be who I am, and it took a lifetime to get there. And I think, just to mention, like, my parents, you know, I have a large family, my parents and 4 younger siblings, and I'm going to be the first one to attend university and get an education. And I'm so thankful we moved here in 2008. About me, I graduated high school here in Edmonton in 2012, and for 7 years after I graduated high school, I was not able to save a single paycheck. I worked retail jobs at Cineplex and Starbucks, and for 7 years I wasn't able to save anything. And at first, you know, my dream was I wanted to save to go to school, and I could not because of my large family. It was more important that I had food on the table and a roof over my head, or head, and that was more important. And I remember I had the opportunity to attend NAIT in 2020, and I had to upgrade all my high school classes. And then my parents said, my mom said, you're upgrading, you know, upgrade, get an education. And I started crying, and I said, Mom, I can't do it, I'm not smart, I don't belong. And she said, no, you have to do it, you have to go. And I remember when I went to NAIT, when I had to upgrade everything, I thought, okay, I'm here, I don't want to do business like what my parents suggested. What do I really want to do? And that's when I remembered what I said when I was a little girl back in Yellowknife, and I said, I want to be a nurse. And then I remember my mom said, are you sure you want to be a nurse? They have to do lots of gross things. And then when I was at NAIT, you know, that was a life-changing time for me, because I developed a positive mindset that I've never had before. And then that was also when I realized, what is my dream? And so how I know I'm meant to be a nurse, a registered nurse, is when I imagine myself graduating and walking across the stage at graduation, I feel like crying. And to this day, even right now, if I were to really think about it, I would cry right now. And, you know, I'm so grateful and thankful that I found what I'm meant to do with my life. And I feel like not a lot of people reach that moment. And I think I just want to share, you know, I represent all the Indigenous students that never get to leave their Clecho communities, their reserve. And, you know, I'm not sure if you're going to meet another Indigenous nursing student who has this opportunity, this dream that I have. And I just want to, I've had people approach me. They said, Makayla, have you thought about research, or nurse practitioner, or medical doctor? And I haven't, well, now I'm thinking about it, but because I imagine, how big is the circle for how many Indigenous nurses do you think we have? And then how many Indigenous nurse practitioners? Yeah. And then how many Indigenous medical doctors do we know? You know, I haven't met very many. And, you know, I think when I attended the CNSA conference in January, you know, my dream is to become a nurse. I want to work with newborn babies. I would love that so much. But when I attended that conference, it reminded me of another dream I had when I was young, where I would love to be a motivational speaker for the Indigenous people of Canada. Yeah. And when I attended that conference, I thought, why can't I fix up the Clecho community where my parents are from? Why can't I create an organization one day to help my people? And I remember when I attended the CNSA conference, I attended just to gain more knowledge and understanding. And I met one man who convinced convinced me to run, and he said, Makayla, if not you, then who? And he's right. If I don't do it, who will? Who will be the next Indigenous nursing student to step up and tell their dreams? And when I think about me wanting to be a motivational speaker, or just attending that conference, and before I get started, can anyone raise their hand if they are Indigenous? I just want to see. I'm so proud of you guys. That is definitely more than I was expecting. I'm proud of us for being here. And I just want to ask a question. Do you think there is a shortage of nurses at all? And I think that's part of me wanting to be a motivational speaker. You know, my dream is to motivate people, the Indigenous people in their communities. And I want to, you know, I don't know if we're going to fix the shortage of nursing anytime soon, but my dream for being a motivational speaker is bringing them from that community and bringing them here. You know, my dream, why can't we have more than 50, 100 nursing students graduate from the University of Alberta, and I hope to create some kind of program and guide them. And I think I just want to share a difficult time in my life. I would say the year 2023 was one of the most difficult times for me. And not because it was the worst thing that I've ever been through, but because it was so consistent. And in March 2023, me and my family, we almost lost our home from behind on payments or just not enough. And at the time, I gave everything I had in my bank account, which was already not that much. And it was so incredibly devastating. I would not wish that upon anybody. We didn't tell my siblings because, you know, we don't want them to worry about it. And then a few months later, while I was working at Starbucks, my mom called me and she was crying with tears, and she said, Makayla, they're taking our truck away, can you help us? And again, you know, I gave everything I had, which was not that much already, maybe 1,600, and you know, I was, you know, proud to do that and just help in any way I can. And in the summertime, a friend and I, she picked me up from work, and then when it's time to go home, her car was broken into and all my work stuff was stolen, my backpack, all my belongings, and I thought, why can't I get a break? I don't understand. But the good thing was, in that summer, I was able to get my first little red car, my used car, because I needed it for clinicals, for long-term care and acute care. And then in October 2023, I got fired from my job at Starbucks. And I cried. I was so incredibly devastated. I thought, how could this happen? Because me and my dad were providers for my family. And you know, to this day, I worked there for 7 years, and to this day, I believe I was the best employee there because all that time at Starbucks, I treated my job at Starbucks like how I would treat it as a nurse. I learned hard work and ethic and honesty, integrity from my parents. And to this day, I believe, you know, that was wrongful termination. I didn't understand. And then on November 1st, I moved out for the first time because I had to do that to focus on school, but also to get away from home. I needed a quiet place to study and for clinicals. So I moved out with no job, no steady income, and I thought, how am I going to do this? But I had to choose me for the first time. And you know, things picked up or looked up when I decided to attend the CNSA conference in January, where, you know, I decided to run, and I won, so now I'm the Director of Indigenous Health and Advocacy. And, you know, looking back, I didn't understand why I had to go through all these things, especially in 2023, I didn't understand, and I thought, why me? And, you know, and now I understand, attending that conference, you know, getting fired from Starbucks was the best thing that's ever happened to me, because if that didn't happen, I would say, I have a job, I have school, I can't attend the conference. And I wouldn't have met Leah Chapman, I wouldn't have won the director role. And more importantly, when I was at that conference, I realized that those my dreams about, I want to be more than just a nurse. I want to be a motivational speaker. Why can't I do that? I want to inspire the younger Indigenous generation and bring them into the nursing profession and other professional roles. And you know, I'm so grateful for that. And then I think, I'm just thinking about the term mental health. And just in general, I think it's a term that is always pushed to the side. And then I thought, what about mental health for Indigenous people? You know, I don't know if anyone thinks about that, and especially in the community. And that's why, with truth and reconciliation, everyone is saying sorry. That's great, continue to do that. But my idea with mental health is I want to heal the Indigenous people from within, and bring them in the communities. And, I'm so incredibly thankful to be here. This is a dream come true and something I'm so looking forward to telling my parents and for future speeches and inspiring other Indigenous people that, we belong in here. We belong in nursing. And I remember when I attended the conference and the day before election, I remember I was walking through the door and I was walking beside another Indigenous man, but he looked like he was very, homeless, and he went to the corner and I went in, and my dream was that we could walk in together. And I hope, next time you guys have a conference, you'll have more Indigenous nursing students or speakers. And before I end my speech, I just want to ask everyone one question. Where do you think is the richest place on earth? I have a lot of people tell me Dubai, USA, a tropical beach. Does anyone have an answer?
Canada?
Within yourself.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that one.
Within yourself.
I like that one too. So I think my answer for where is the richest place on earth? I believe it's the graveyard, the cemetery, because I think so many people live their life without ever just deciding what they want to do, without following their dreams and realizing why was I here, why was I born? And, I realized I don't want to become that person. And I'm so incredibly thankful and grateful that I realized my dream of not just being a nurse, being a motivational speaker, and having all these dreams and goals for the future. And I just want to say thank you so much for giving me this time and letting me attend. And I'm so grateful. I just want to say thank you for helping me make my dream become a reality.